Okay, so we'll start the recording. I'm just going to start by asking anybody sort of off the back of doing the base chakra last time, whether anybody had any feedback or experiences. You're all aware of my kind of meltdown.
No.
Or just the whole needing to stand my ground when I was talking on the Jake's football group.
Oh yes.
I think I told some of you.
Yeah.
About the whole V issue with kids being offered it, and I had something to say, and obviously that triggered a lot of things for me, but it is for me, like, you know, I've got to stand up for what I believe in and let people do what they want to do, but at that time that felt right to do, so I actually stand by it. I don't know that Jake's fine now anyway, so yeah.
Well done, Suzanne.
That kind of manifested out of doing the base chakra, I think, because the thing is with this, you know, sometimes it can stir things up when you're clearing out stuff, because it's not like, you know, fluffy frilly spirituality where you just turn up and do something lovely and it's all nice. Sometimes you've got to look at some of the shadows and clear it, and when you've got support to do that, and it's not always, you know, gritty like that, it's just that sometimes if there is something that's ready to shift or something that you really need to stand up for, then it's gonna, you know, come out, and then you fill it with, you know, the light of the 5D chakras. Is, you know, what the reason we're doing this is to be in a better space, that you're manifesting the right people into your life and being surrounded by the things that feel right for you, what your truth is. That's the whole point, is to make it actually easier. But we all have shadows and stuff, and we're 95% unconscious, so a lot of that's programming. So sometimes you've got to shift some of the programming in order to have the free will, that we've all got free will, but that belongs in the kind of 5% of what we are conscious. So how often are we actually in free will, unless we're actually conscious of the choices we're making? So sometimes you've got to bring the programs up, which is obviously what body talk is all about as well, and divine healing is seeing the programs that lie beneath the surface. It's important to surface it, and it will only come with what you're ready for. And it'll be gentle if that's what's necessary as well. It's the whole nature of this, is it's going to do whatever's right for you, really, at whatever level. So anyone else got anything to share around that stuff?
Yeah. I was just going to say, I cried at the dog trainer because it felt like she told me off.
Dog trainers are often quite formidable, Mandy, and it is about training the human. I've got told that. She was like, you there with those spotty wellies on, are you listening? I'm talking to you, not the dog. It's okay.
Honestly, she's the most gentle woman, but honestly, she just got me right in the, well, I don't know where it was, but it wasn't nice. And then she triggered something and I just cried and cried. And she was like, are you okay? I was like, I'm missing my kids. It was nothing to do with her, it was all to do with me. But
was that in a class?
No, thankfully. And there wasn't somebody just waiting in the sidelines to come and do the next bit as well, so that was a relief. But yeah, it was you know, I don't think I'd generally done that. I didn't feel like it was at all provoked by her. It was just me waiting for it to come out, be triggered by something.
Yeah, it needed to purge.
Yes. I'm like,
that's the thing, all emotions are okay, it's just when we hang on to them, they're not.
Yeah.
For angry, sad, scared, it's all okay. It's just that we suppress all of those because they're not, you know, allowed or convenient. Or, yeah, it's just not. So Faye, what were you going to share?
Oh, I get angry quite frequently, to be honest. It's like I'll be really calm and grounded, and then if I feel like I can't if I don't feel like I've got enough time to do the things that I know I need to do, like I have to get my energy out a lot. I've got a lot of nines and I've got a lot of energy in me all the time, which is exhausting. But if I feel like I can't do it or I get stifled, if it goes on for too many days, I'll snap all the time at anything or anyone, just completely out of the blue. It's horrible. But it's recognizing those patterns as well.
Yeah.
And that's because I feel like I've given up myself to other things that I know aren't serving me. You know, whether that's working late or doing things for the sake of it or however that is. And I can only do it for so long. And then it really does make me angry.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about boundaries in a minute, and we're all guilty of that, especially when you're an empath. And it's important in the terms that we boundary ourselves in knowing that it's okay to say, no, I can't do it. And not over offering ourselves out. Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. I hear myself saying it all the time. No, it's okay. No, I can do it. And I'm thinking, well, I don't really know where I'm going to fit that in. But yeah, we've all done that. So I'll go over the last aspects of the base chakra as well, which will make that more clear about what you can do with that as well. Which is good. Anyone else? No?
No.
Okie dokie. So while I'm talking through these bits, I'll leave you, able, if you need to speak, just put your hand up and kind of ask questions or join in or whatever. And then when we do the meditations, I'll put you on mute, okay? Because this is all about us learning together and shifting some shit. So let's share the screen. Okay, so we got to here last time. Karen, I'm going to give you co-host.
Okay.
In case Natalia
Yeah.
was along, yeah. Is that all right? And then that's
no problem.
you'll be able to let her in for me. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got to the 5th dimensional base chakra. I did read through this last time. So doing this helps us achieve spiritual enlightenment. When we embody higher aspects of ourselves, we tune into Archangel Gabriel for support for that, and that helps us with our development into from 3 to 5D basically. So when you connect into the ascension base chakra, it's one of the ways that you can check in with this is really looking at where you're putting I am in your thoughts, in what you say and how you respond, because I am is ownership of something, which I think all of you here know, but it's good to remember this, and this is a good exercise to do for making sure you're grounded and stuff, is that you're owning your stuff and that you're doing what you need to do for you. So if you put yourself down, for example, then you're kind of manifesting the wrong vibration to yourself. So just be careful, like I am love or I am anxious. There's a different vibration to that. Now some people are anxious, my daughter's anxious, but I try to help her reframe it and say I have anxiety at the moment, so that it makes it temporary and she's not wearing it like a coat, because otherwise it becomes part of somebody's identity. And then when you've shared that with enough people, they'll talk about the person as that person's anxious, or think about them as that anxious person. Now we're all able to change and grow all the time, and we could change from that. We could just have one amazing session with something or another, or suddenly just something clicks and there's a complete change, because we're just energy, so those changes are possible. But if we hang on to too many anchors that are keeping us stuck in a system of low vibration, then you just keep perpetuating it. So when you're telling your stories to people, remember that you might not see them for a month, they're going to hang on to that story about you. So if it's people you see all the time and you share your deepest and darkest, and they know that you're going to pull through it, then that's fine, because those kind of people in your life don't hold you in that space. But it's just, if you're telling other people, remember that they're just going to remember that about you until they see you next. You think about your childhood friends, and I think about them from my own perception as I remember them, how they were at school. They could be a completely different person now, but you're like, oh yeah, that's so-and-so who was such and such, or was like this or like that. That's like 35 years ago for me, you know, and people change. Like some of my family, aunties and uncles and stuff, still in their mind, I'm still Suzanne they knew when I was young, because they don't really know me as an adult. So sometimes you can just get stuck in someone else's program. You know, when you go and visit family or people you've not seen for a long time, sometimes you end up going into a role that you didn't actually mean to end up in. It's just, you know, it's about learning to just be you, whatever, basically, so you attract the right people in. And if it doesn't fit with people in your past, then so be it. It's just being brave enough to fully own that, really. And then you get the people that you're meant to have. Any questions? Is that all clear? Good. So the transition between 3 to 5D, we'll go backwards and forwards as we learn what's ours, what's just stuff, what's our perception, other people's perception that we've owned. And we can turn up to other people's stuff about us and think that that's, you know, right. When actually, if that's not what you think about yourself, then someone else's opinion is not really valid. We blame out, people blame us. We own some of that, and we just need to learn when to put that down. It's like, you know, getting on that bus of someone else's stuff, and knowing when not to get on it, when not to pick the baggage up, and just not join in with something. Because if you don't join in with an energy of someone else's, they've got no one to play the game with, no one to have the story with, because you're not adding to it. So you just learn to observe it as, oh, okay, I'm a bit triggered, but actually that's their stuff they're projecting at me. So I feel triggered, so that's my stuff. What is it about that, what they're saying I'm, you know, I'm owning, what I'm looking at from my own life? But actually what they're kind of spewing out is not necessarily deliberately meant to hurt you. It's just their programming and their own hurts and stuff coming out of their mouth. And sometimes we project that at other people and we don't mean to. So even think about the people in your lives that you might not like very much. You know, they are just doing their programs, and we can choose to see that that's their stuff and we don't have to join in. Or if we're triggered, we can work on why we're triggered. Does that remind us of anything from our childhood and stuff? Yeah. So it's just really trying to always zoom out into looking at a bigger picture. And that's, you know, part of the ascension process really, is to see beyond, you know, the tiny self. And it's all just one big kind of learning pool of what belongs where. So validating our discomfort is one way of, you know, moving energy that's uncomfortable, to looking at the shadow aspects of our own processes, learning and unlearning. And that's how we'll help ourselves, and then we go on to help others. Reframing our language, I just talked about that, and learning what to let go of. Stay in your own lane, have boundaries, check in with each now moment. If you're wobbling, just go back to right, what's actually happening right now, not what I'm looking at, what might happen or what has happened. Is actually, okay, what's actually happening right now in this moment. That's a really good leveler. If you're in an uncomfortable moment somehow, it can sometimes be as simple as just going, oh, I just need to go to the loo. That walk to the toilet, taking yourself out of, you know, the firing line of something, coming back in, completely changes the energy, because everyone's had a moment to pause and breathe. And it just, you know, including you, and that just kind of changes it. Or just learn to say, that's not for me, thanks. Or, you know, I don't agree, respectfully, but yeah. It's the end of the conversation, basically. And the more we do that, and the more we look for the positive things that we own about ourselves, the more you're connecting to your higher self without all the baggage and perception and stuff that's got in the way of that. So capture words that you're programmed with in your mind, outwardly, and what you get attached to. And remember that we're human beings, and a lot of people, including all of us to a certain degree, have become human doings. And it ends up with doing things that aren't really part of our purpose because we feel we should, and it's not really part of our journey. I mean, obviously there's always going to be compromise and things that we need to do for each other and our families and stuff, that's fair enough, but we do end up doing a lot of things we don't really want to do. So, and you know, making work where it's not necessarily like get into a habit of this day is I change the sheets and this day I do the washing and this day I do that. If someone offers you to go out for the day, go out for the day. The sheets can wait a few days. And I always tell clients and stuff, one way around that is to have a week to view diary or planner. So if you're the sort of person that has this perpetual rolling list that never gets to the bottom, that can be a little bit depressing, is to just plan it out over your week, thinking, right, is it possible to do that task today? No, right, where in the week can I do that? And you just ditch it out of your head, put it in the week. If it can't be this week, put it on to next week. And then do the things in the day that you've got time to do and time to access. That just stops the kind of overwhelm of all the other stuff that gets in the way of us actually really connecting into being grounded and doing the stuff that we really want to do. So again, that's a boundary. Lists can become a never-ending chore, which often is not fun. And then we can go in the direction of what feels right in each moment. Is it an open feeling or does it feel off? If you get invited somewhere or to do something or take part in something, go with your gut. Don't just go along with what you think you should be doing, or just because everyone else is doing it, just say, actually, no, it's not for me. Or actually, that feels really exciting. I'll do that. So 3D to 5D, it's a process of connection in our soul's journey, attracting in for us and learning to let go of lessons that are no longer part of our journey also. So out of survival into mastery, and that's how you attract the people that are meant to be in your life. Okay. Anyone got anything to add? Okay, so we're going into the sacral chakra. Faye's seen this picture before like a million times. We're
Nice.
choosing pictures for my website.
Very pretty.
This is nice colour, and it encompasses all the colours of the sacral. So the 3D sacral chakra is Svadhisthana. I don't even know if that's how you say it properly, so please correct me if you do know that. Sva means self and Adhisthana means established. So it means basically where your being is established. So we're human beings, basically. It's our creative self. It's the colour orange, the water element, the unconscious and emotions. So a lot of what we're experiencing in the world right now is the shadow aspect of the sacral chakra, massively. So a lot of what's going on is we've come into divine feminine in 2012 when we met the convergence there. And it's a kind of fight back of the patriarchy. So we're going through, you know, moving out of the old paradigm, and quite often, like the Tower card in tarot, things have to fall apart in order for new things to be born. So although it feels, you know, disastrous in lots of ways, it was never just going to be that we woke up one day and said, let's just change doing this, do it different, because people have to be motivated or pushed to do that. So fear, if it's unbalanced, we hold a lot of fear in this chakra, especially of death. Fear blocks our creativity and our ability to manifest. Creativity literally means to create, bring things into existence, manifest what we desire and love, create beauty, confidence, and being in tune with nature. We are nature beings. So all relationships have their good and bad aspects. So we've got the shadow and the beauty in all of it. If it gets out of balance, I mean, it's how we learn as well, the shadows. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's like dark and light. Dark's not bad. It's just that we have to keep things in balance like we do our physical body and the microbiome. It's about procreation, sensuality, sexuality, pleasure. So if you think about where these have featured over this period of time, and the separation that's existed to stop these things going on in the world in the last year and a half. is huge. So you can see, you know, a lot of people are blocked by fear or guilt or temptation or duty, you know, making decisions around what we put into our bodies and all of that kind of stuff. You can see how this is all sacral chakra stuff. So the gift here is to experience life through our feelings and sensations. So through intimacy, connection with our own body and with others. So learning to transform ourselves free from the conditioning, again, raising out of the 95% unconscious into the 5% so that we are in free will and choice. All right. Have anyone got anything to add there that they think is relevant to this as well? No? I could feel Karen's brain working, whirring around. So the ascension sacral chakra, I'll talk about that in a second. I just want to talk a little bit about, I was listening to Tim Wilde ages ago and just reacquainting myself to some of the stuff he was talking about. So read The Fall of Atlantis 10,000 years ago. And we went from a 12 chakra system to a 7 chakra system. So we've had all this before and more. We're bells on. It's like, you know, living in literally in Lemuria, and we abused it and fell from grace, basically. And we went into a 7 chakra system in order to experience the 3D, so that we learn lessons and how to grow and evolve again. It's just a cycle of life and nature. You know, it's kind of pushing ourselves into extinction or to better ourselves, basically. So we're coming out of a kind of very long dark period, really. So when you lose that connection to the heart, like we did all that time ago, you know, gradually patriarchal system took over, and the feminine, the divine feminine, was kind of hidden away. We had no voice. You know, lots of us hear of the witches of old, and, you know, if you speak up, you're burnt at the stake and stuff. This manifestation we've come in as therapists, it's the same energy where we're, you know, we're in tune with nature and we can see what's natural and healthy and what isn't. And there are, you know, obviously systems that don't benefit from that. So we walked back the divine feminine in 2012, and then we're going in now to create a balance of the divine masculine and feminine, because, you know, you need both, and we've got both within us, as you all of you already know that. So our etheric bodies are the divine blueprint of all our experience through all our lifetimes, and we're ready now to leave our baggage behind. So the sacral chakra holds most of that baggage around that stuff, and a lot of the world baggage is held in the sacral chakra. The world sacral chakra is at Lake Titicaca, and that has a balance of masculine and feminine energy. But I don't really know if anyone knows if there's anything going on there, kind of weather-wise or anything, but it'd be interesting to see. You know, sometimes those kind of things get hijacked.
Whereabouts is that, Suzanne?
Bolivia and Peru, I believe, between the two. So yeah, it's interesting to find out. And sometimes I think things shift and move, obviously, move around. So it's about sexual union, every relationship. The 5D sacral chakra is the flood of transcendent love and bringing in and attracting in your soul family. So again, living from your heart space and having the people in your life that are meant to be there. So yeah, as you can see here, Archangel Gabriel is the keeper, is the guide that comes with this ascension sacral chakra, basically. Keeper of the white ray. This is a symbol of purification and grace and balance. So the white ray helps us connect with our divinity, our soul, our heart, and working from integrity. Bringer of good news and energy and heaven on earth. So the new Lemuria and the new earth that we're all, creating now, because we are all manifesting and creating this, even in our little groups. It's how we function together as a group. And there are many, many other groups like that out there all connecting. And that is literally in the vision of the fifth dimensional world, because we're living from a heart space. And with that, comes where we're having to shift judgments that we're making of people making different choices. I'm guilty of that. We've got to try and see that they've chosen their part in it as well. They've chosen to be the people that are doing the opposite to us in order for this all to be exposed and know that we've got to change how we're living. So Gabriel brings strength to us to speak our truth without fear. So always connecting with Archangel Gabriel's, good for that. Also looks after our inner child and helps us heal from old wounds. So with various different types of meditation, which I've done with some of you before, you can learn to heal your inner child, reparent yourself. And sometimes if you've got children of your own, you will have known that you've parented your children in spite of your own parents. We've all done it. And that just means that there are things that you didn't like about your upbringing. You think, well, I'm not doing that with my kids. But actually, you've got to parent the kids that are in front of you, not what you like or don't like. It's not about how you would have liked it. It's thinking about what they need. But again, we're all programmed and we'll kind of fall into that. So it's looking at this sacral chakra stuff as well, family work. It's luminous pink, so it's gone from orange to luminous pink. So this picture's quite good because it's got a bit of both in there. It's transforming from one to the other. It will go between the two again. It's about confident, loving energy, transcendent love, acceptance of true expression of sexuality and unity vibration, releasing karmic bonds in family relationships, and creating freedom to love and mutual respect. So literally the joy, the light, and the unconditional love. So you've got the light and the dark, the shadow and the light work with the 3D and the 5G chakras. So we can all see that we're going to be switching between the two. The 4D, so some people say, well, what's happened to the fourth dimension? Is this like a bridge? Want to go over the fourth dimensional bridge, and there are some energies and entities that hang out in there that are not as high a light as they could be, that we need to be in 5D, so we can travel through 4D quite easily with that when we're working with the light. So I'm going to do some. Pardon?
Sorry. So I was going to say, like the troll, where the billy goat's trying to get over the other side.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, troll living under the bridge.
Yeah.
Fourth dimension sometimes. So yeah, I saw somebody on Facebook earlier who Faye and I know talking about a troll earlier in the forest.
Oh, really? Who was it?
It was Charlotte.
Of course it was. I knew that. I was like, who was it? And I was like, of course it was bloody Charlotte. It's got to be
She
Charlotte.
found some energy in there that she's going to try and communicate with to kind of clear it. So not bad clearing stuff, but something that needed to shift. So sometimes we just have to learn to work with energy in order to understand it and then help that raise its vibration as well, like we do with people. Sometimes people are just a bit lost or just wholly conditioned into one way of thinking. It's just how it is. It's years of programming through the TV and all sorts of things. So I'm going to read some of Kyle Gray's work and help you connect into Archangel Gabriel. So I'm going to pop you all on mute for a minute. Just get yourselves comfy, but not too comfy that you're going to fall asleep. But if you do, don't worry, you can always watch the replay. I'm going to turn my camera off for a second because I just need a light to see and I don't want that shining. Okay, you can all still hear me, yes? Okay. So just take a couple of deep breaths. Just relax into your body. Just feel yourself grounded, knowing that you're connected to the Earth Star Chakra. Knowing that you're safe and in your own protective bubble of light. We're going to connect in with Archangel Gabriel. Just connecting in with that inner child a little bit. Imagine yourself as a child running through a field full of daisies or any other flowers that might remind you of your childhood. See yourself running around, giggling, laughing, being free. Tuning into all of your senses, what's around you. Just be aware now that there's a tall figure waiting in the distance. It could be male or female, whatever comes to you. And the hair's floating in the wind. You catch a scent, a smell about them in the air. Walk towards this energy. As you get nearer, you realize this is an angel. This is Archangel Gabriel. Feel their energy embrace you as you walk nearer. Feel the energy of Gabriel wrapping itself all around you like a cloak of safe light. Feel loved and nurtured in this space. You're safe in this bubble. From this loving space where you're fully safe and protected, just cast your mind to any incidents from your childhood that may have affected you. Just have an awareness to where you may be feeling this in your body and any sensations. You may have some random events popping into your head, coming into mind. Know that you're just being shown what you needed to see, wounds that can be healed. We thank Archangel Gabriel from our inner child. And thank him for surrounding us in nurturing light and helping us find peace. Tell your inner child that it's safe to be loved. And nothing can come between the love for yourself and the love you deserve. So allow your heart energy to open. Feel the feelings of self-love. Allow this divine, innocent part of yourself to grow. Heal your heart. Heal your soul. And open your mind to be able to see through new eyes from a bigger perspective of what was going on in the stories. Knowing that this is how you've processed your journey of all the things you were meant to learn, things you chose on a soul level. And with these gifts of wisdom, knowing that you're always guided and that you can always call on Archangel Gabriel. So I'm just going to say a short prayer to welcome Gabriel's energy into our lives. Archangel Gabriel, strength of God, bearer of good news. Thank you for supporting me as I open up and speak my truth. I feel strong and empowered knowing you are with me as I speak with integrity. As you connect with me, I begin to see through the eyes of my inner child. I begin to follow my joy and live with happiness. I feel nurtured and know I am loved, and so it is. Just feel into the energy of Archangel Gabriel and that connection you have, knowing you can call on this energy whenever you need it. Whenever something feels out of balance. It's to ask for guidance to connect us back into our divinity and our soul's path. Help us to speak truth without fear. And whenever you feel a wound from the past surfacing, just ask Archangel Gabriel to come in and assist with healing your wounds, seeing the bigger picture. Just see your energy slowly separating from Archangel Gabriel. Thank him for coming along. See yourselves walking back through the field, knowing you can call on him whenever you need. Slowly just bring yourselves back into the room. Just take a nice deep breath. Rub your feet on the floor. Rub your hands together, have a stretch. You with us, Karen? Yeah. Mandy? Yeah. Just take yourselves off mute for a moment if you'd like to. Gabriel also works with groups of women, helping them grow together, and also with Mother Mary. And also has a close affiliation with working with Archangel Michael, so we feel protected when we're speaking our truth. So kind of go together. I'll put my camera back on now. There we are. Anyone have anything to share?
I was a bit all over the place. Not unusual, I know, but started off in a field. I don't know what it was about really. Just all sorts of stuff going on. Don't know. I think my mind's a bit scattered at the moment.
That's okay. You can come back to these as well.
Yeah, but I mean, I was hearing everything you're saying, but I don't know. My mind was taking me all over the place. I don't know what any of it meant, to be honest. Sure, it meant something, but I can't make head nor tail of it.
You'll pop in whatever is needed. You got what you needed to have.
Yeah, very strange. Yeah.
Good. And then to practice connecting with Archangel Gabriel. Did you see Gabriel as male or female?
He was male in mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was there. He was there. I'm just not sure what else was happening.
We'll see how that manifests. See what comes up.
Yeah.
How about you, Faye? Thanks, Karen.
Really good. It flashed back to when I'm always around 7. I've got my very white personal hair, and it showed me 3 different scenes from when I was a little kid. The first was when my brother, he died momentarily, and it was being in that place, and it was remembering how I felt and where I felt it, the shock, and it was in my lungs and in my face. Everything was really bright when I was looking, and we were in Egypt. I was with my mum when we were walking, so that was the first one. And then the second one was, there were 2 others. One was a boy called Thomas Rudd, both times rounders, and I'd ended up injuring people. I was very uncoordinated, but I was playing rounders at school, and I'd knocked myself out briefly. I'd fallen down and bashed my head. It was happening. And this boy, Thomas Rudd, picked me up, and he was kind of like the scruffy kid at the time. I was only a little kid, and I was like, oh, made a joke out of it. But then I felt terrible about it, and he ended up dying of meningitis a year later. So I was only a little kid then as well. And the third time was I'd swung a rounders bat backwards and knocked out Jonathan Holmes, this boy from school, and he was a really small boy as well. And I felt really bad about that too. So they were all of the small child Faye things that I saw. And then it resulted in me as an adult carrying me as a 7-year-old.
Wow.
Giving me a cuddle. And I was walking with Gabriel. He was all in green, wearing all green. Well, it was a he, she. They were a bit androgynous.
They all are.
Yeah, whenever I see them, they're always in cartoon form and they're always androgynous. But I was carrying little me and just reassuring me not to worry about it all. It's okay.
Maybe not to hold any guilt over it because it was an accident.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lovely. Thank you. And Sue?
I had quite a few memories. One of them I actually do remember myself when I got really, really angry with a person who lived across the road, and I don't know what to say, but what I did is I picked up an iron bar and I ran to kind of hit her, and I actually dropped the back of her head.
Wow.
And I just sort of I felt really bad, because I was like, again, thinking that I'd done something really bad. And I always kind of like think about when I hear about, child murderers, and that is that how that could have happened, to me, is that, I could have killed her, kind of thing. So that was, I think, for me, asking forgiveness with that, because, I think just, well, sort of enormous anger coming out. And I had lots of other visions, memories, like as you were saying, really, I did, kind of get lots of flashes of things, and also had a real pain in my chest.
Okay.
And sometimes I get that quite often, where I'm sort of maybe sort of like indigestion, but it's just a pain, and sometimes I have to clear it with milk. But I asked Archangel Michael, Gabriel, to help that, and that did go away.
That's lovely. So we're gonna talk about the Ho'oponopono again. Ho'oponopono, however you say that. Never have mastered that. In the next slide, we talk about that and forgiveness. So it's always a really good technique to remember. It's really powerful, and that we're just children, and we're just acting on instincts, and if we feel frightened and scared, we do things like you've just described. That's just how easy it is, isn't it, to react. And if we've been where, we brought up with, you don't speak out or something, suddenly this big explosion could just erupt because we've held it in for too long. It turns into kind of erratic behavior, which we've all done at some point or another, from our upbringing. And even with good parents, it's always, it's not appropriate to cry or be angry, or don't speak unless you're spoken to, and all of that kind of stuff. It's just so much conditioning that's gone on. Or you get the opposite with really unboundaried parents, where children feel unsafe and neglected. So it just depends on what their conditioning is and how you were brought up and stuff, but we all have reactions to that. And then over caring parents can feel really suffocating. So whatever we do as parents, and whatever our parents have done, there's always going to be something that's not quite a right fit for your kids or for us. It's just, most of the time people are just trying their best with the consciousness that they've got, and not really realizing their conditioning like we've all got. It's an interesting process to realize that people are mostly basically good people, without the right sort of skills sometimes, or not really knowing how. I mean, I remember, even when I brought Jake home from hospital and sort of plonked him in the middle of the floor in his car seat, it's just like, well, what do we do now? It's like, well, I don't know. There's no manual. Till he started crying, we were just like, oh, okay, so I need to do this and this, and maybe he needs feeding, and you just bumble through it, really. And that's what our parents did. It's hard. We get it wrong, they got it wrong. We do things that, we react, we get things wrong. Sometimes, we do a lot right, but we tend to hang on to the wrong stuff and hang on to the heavy, dense emotions, or get shamed, and we hang on to that. So it's just asking, working with Gabriel, ask for those things to be healed, practicing self-forgiveness with the Ho'oponopono. Mandy, thank you, Sue.
So I thought when we were sort of running through the daisies and stuff, I I thought it wasn't like that for me. I thought, because we were in India, it was very smelly and very, you know, heightened senses. It was just sort of very full on, really. And I kind of felt regret, because I'd love to have been running through daisies, I think.
Could do it now, Mandy, as an adult.
Yeah. Yeah, I will. Good idea. And then I've had this sort of feeling that's been coming up about my sister. And when I was, I don't know, 12 or 13, I found her diary, and she was just slagging me off throughout the diary. Really appalling, you know, she just completely hated me, despised me. So she's my younger sister. So and so that was quite an interesting one to sort of, that sort of was coming up. And I remember reading the pages and thinking, wow, I had no idea. I was completely clueless. So I think, you know, it's just coming up to be cleared, really. And the sort of opening it out into a larger perspective was that, you know, I was probably being quite mean to her, because she came along and she kind of did a lot of things that I really struggled to do, and I got a bit fed up with her, really.
Yeah.
So it was, you know, really quite an interesting sort of insight into how, you know, it wasn't her fault. She was born, and, you know, she was being annoying to me, so that I was then being annoying to her. Yeah, it was quite interesting. Yeah.
And actually, we write things down as children, don't we, that we don't really understand or mean fully.
Yeah.
Out of, you know, a reaction in the moment.
Yeah, I think my sister's an avid writer of everything. Yeah. That's her way of processing things. So, but yeah, I've sort of now had the insight that probably I suffer from lower self-esteem, because I think I go back to that sort of memory subconsciously. I've only just really sort of dawned on me that it was such a sort of strong influence on how I'm sort of perceiving myself through her eyes, which sort of deepens everything and sort of has.
And actually, that's however many years ago now, and there's still a wound there, you know, in the background.
Yeah, so it's good to have it sort of looked at and clear it out, really. So
where were you feeling that in your body, Mandy?
In my heart.
Okay.
And I always feel my heart is a little sort of murky, a little bit muddy in the energy. It doesn't feel, a lot of the chakras feel quite clear, but my heart does feel pretty sort of, yeah, not clear and happy particularly. So yeah, I think that could be good to have that cleared, really.
Yeah. Some self-love stuff as well.
Yeah. And Gabriel smelt of cookies.
Nice.
That was really nice.
Good childhood memory, wouldn't it? Smelling of cookies.
And was a lady.
Yeah. It's good to let people have the angel turn up in whatever experience they need to be, whether they need to be a certain sex or not. Because it's what, you know, it can be either, can't it? Because we're all male and female anyway. It's just allowing it to turn up how it needs to be.
Yeah, true.
It's lovely. Some great insights there, and we all learn from each other when we're doing this. I mean, I had, similar to you, I'm the younger sister. And I've got an older brother, and, you know, he was 3.5 years older than me, and I came along, and my mum, you know, decided I was some dolly to dress up. Bless her. Sorry, mum. I hated all that pink stuff. And yeah, he was a bit bitter towards me, really. I felt I was spoiled, and it's our relationship as young children was turbulent. He put a garden fork through my foot.
Ouch.
But then we had a patch of garden each, and I just thought I'd go and dig up one of his flowers and then tell tales on him.
Yeah.
So I was being annoying, truly. And he didn't obviously mean to nail me to the floor with the garden fork, but it luckily it went through that part of my toes, so it kind of went through the skin, it missed all the bones and stuff. I was literally stuck to the floor. It was
Ow.
about 5.
Must have been some force then that he did that with.
I was really cross. Yeah, so kids do stuff when they're angry. Like Sue was saying, that's what happens. You just snap. People get pushed to a certain point, and that's it, isn't it? They just go for it. But I can see why he's like he is, and a lot of the stuff that I've had to clear as an adult is all around my relationship with my brother. Guilt and fear and abandonment and all of those things, really, which we can all relate to in some way or another. So yeah, that's kind of where my mind went. But like you, Mandy, I can see the bigger perspective and forgive him and forgive myself for being annoying.
Definitely.
Then we come to so as we move from 3D to 5D, how do we do that? So this is going to go backwards and forwards, like I explained about the base chakra, because we are still, in this reality. We'll meet challenges in our relationships through, we've all got conditioned reactions, like we've just said, and so have they. A lot of that's unconscious, and we've got lots of shoulds and shouldn'ts about things that should and shouldn't happen, and beliefs about how people should behave, and they have beliefs about how we should behave, and society, cultural, gender, the conditioning's right the way across the board through many different layers and levels of that, and past life stuff, and all sorts of things that we project into our future lives as well can come with baggage, because all time is all now. It's not linear. So sometimes when we're clearing future stuff that we're kind of envisaging, this might happen, that might happen, and then we're bringing it into manifestation. So again, bringing yourself back to the now moment. Boundaries around sexuality and sensuality, what's right for you and what might be right for somebody else, respecting other people's boundaries, respecting your own, honouring your own, and respect for yourself around boundaries. We would have had a lot of our own boundaries trampled on as youngsters, because kind of being guided or told what to do, and in some ways we need to be taught stuff, and we need to have lessons. In other ways it would be stuff that was hugely uncomfortable because somebody else doesn't understand boundaries. Again, there's always a bigger perspective to that. So honouring our bodies and practicing self-love is a biggie. That's a really big thing for me that I have to learn over and over. We will spend a lot of time on and off clearing stuff from the sacral. We'll keep coming back to that throughout all, over all the chakras, really, because this is what's going on in the world. This is what we're clearing. We're learning to stand in our divine feminine, trying to balance the divine masculine and change from an old paradigm into a new one. So this is a lot of the stuff that we are going to be needing to process. We are going to get angry and triggered, and then we're going to be able to see where we stand in that, and then look at the bigger picture, see why that's manifesting, and then choose what we're going to do and how we're going to move forward in it. So it's the same process I've talked about again and again and again, and we're navigating through a massive shadow in the world at the moment. So we've got to learn really to master the higher energy of transcendent love. So that is loving people even when they're doing something different or what we think is wrong. It's trying to find some love in that's their path and their journey. When you in your own boundary, in your own heart space, then you're going to draw the people that are meant for you. There'll be a match in your vibration and harmony. There's a lot of soul groups, soul tribes, people working together happening now, and more men turning up all the time now, which is good. Some of us are in a kind of group about what's happening in the world, and there's quite a lot of men in that group, which is good. Men that have shifted perspective out of the old patriarchy, which is, there's quite a lot in there, isn't there, Karen, in that? So you notice a lot of men standing up now and going, okay, things need to change. And without chaos, things don't change. So sometimes it is just necessary. So just always trying to look into, that unconditional love, and seeing that people are not wholly bad, they're just programmed into a certain way of thinking. And just keep setting your boundaries really from your heart. And then if you realize that you've not honored a boundary, then learn from it, and then find a way of, if you feel bad about saying no to something, for example, you find a nice way of saying no. Just reframe the words that you use, maybe. Or just, if somebody else is hurt because it's not something you want to do, that's their stuff. And as hard as that is, you can't always sacrifice yourself for what somebody else needs, because then you're not living your own life, and that makes two unhappy people rather than one who needs to work through their stuff. But you have to honor your own needs now. That's part of our journey, who you are. So just thinking about the Ho'oponopono. So this is about really being in your heart center and really speaking to your own self, or you can speak this as if you're saying it to other people in your mind, but it's a really good space to be in with yourself. So I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. Now you might think, well, I haven't got loads of things to forgive myself for, but we all talk badly to ourselves. Our inner chatter is not always healthy about ourselves. There's always something, like, oh, this is not quite right about me, like physical stuff especially, and fitting in, or things that we think we've done or said, or there's always things like that. And the more we forgive ourselves and be in our own heart center, that's true self-love, and then all the things that you're forgiving outside of that just kind of fall into place with that, because we're mirrors. And sometimes what we are seeing that needs to balance in other people is often buried stuff that needs to balance in us as well. It's and that's sometimes uncomfortable to see that. But sometimes we might have people that say outwardly horrible stuff, which is not very nice, and they're again just acting from their program, and sometimes it might not be very nice to say, and we might not meet that outwardly with saying horrible words back, but in your head you are. We're all guilty of that. We've all done it. And we do that outwardly, or when we speak to our friends, we have a gossip. It's okay to do that. It's okay to have a download. We're not saints, and we don't need to be saints, but you can recognize it. You can recognize that there's a wound. You can recognize where you're feeling that in your body, and that is how you move through it. Just recognize it, make it conscious, make it into the 5% conscious that we are, although I think we're more than that. We're more conscious than 5% for sure. And then it's a choice, then it's free will. You're acting from free will once it's conscious, and then you can choose how you want to respond. Are you going to respond to something, or are you going to react? If you've paused and seen a bigger picture, or noticed that it's one of your stories turning up, then you can actually, if you pause, just take a breath for a second, you can then choose whether you're getting on that bus again or not. You're going to turn up to that again or not. It's that choice over and over. So you can just, say the prayer in your head. So it's a powerful way to cleanse your body of guilt, shame, haunting memories, ill will, bad feelings that keep your mind fixated on negative thoughts. So as a forgiveness practice, it's deeply resonant and tends to penetrate our inner monologue over time. So it changes, just making one little change. So we're going to do a meditation now. I pulled a card to go with this chakra, and I pulled the fire of transformation, which is very apt for the meditation that I was going to do, because it's the phoenix. You read that?
Purification.
Can you read
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is going to be a bit longer, this meditation. So just again, make sure you're comfy, have a drink of water. Try not to fall asleep, but if you do, don't worry about it. I'm going to pop you on mute. So just to start with, before we do the meditation, I'm going to just get you to shut your eyes and do the Ho'oponopono for a second. You can either say it out loud with me or say it in your head. Just really feel into the words. So I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Just really have an awareness in your senses, anywhere in your body you're feeling. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Just feel into your heart center and allow that to process. Just sit in that for a moment. Just take a deep breath and feel your feet on the floor. Just pushing those roots down out of the base of your spine and the soles of your feet. Wrapping around the Earth Star Chakra. Deep down into the earth, fully anchored. Just come into your solar plexus. Feel into your strength. Just visualize a bright white light growing from here all around you, placing you in a protective bubble of light. This is your boundary. You choose what comes in. This is a boundary for the physical and the spiritual. And ask Archangel Michael to come, cut any cords, and help release any negative or draining energies that are not for you, and seal the ends. No reattachment. So we're just going to tune into each of our chakras first. And starting high up above your head in the Stilla Gateway. Just visualize the bright golden orange light. Let's see if you feel a connection to these ascension chakras and their colours and sensations that come with that. And then moving down slightly to the soul star. A giant ball of magenta light glowing above you. Feel that connection as you move down to slightly above and behind your head to the moon white of the causal chakra. And then down into your crown chakra at the top of your head, a golden crystal crown. As you come into the physical ones, this could be met with more sensation. Just have an awareness to what's there without getting too involved. Moving down into your brow chakra, the center of your forehead, moving into this towards the center of your brain. It's a glowing crystal ball with sparkly emerald light, emerald green. Just feel that activating the energy. Sense or see or feel what's there. And then moving down into your throat, a ball of royal blue light. Connect into this colour, this energy of the throat chakra. And moving down into your heart chakra, bright, pure bright white. Just feel or sense into this energy, allowing this to open and expand. Allowing this energy of love to expand within and all around you. Inviting in transcendent love. What would that feel like? Then down into the bright gold of the solar plexus. Connect into your inner strength. And down into the navel chakra. It's a bright golden light. And then down into the luminous pink light within and all around your sacral chakra. Just feel into that energy, sense what's there for you. And allowing this connecting to your base chakra, the platinum light, anchoring you, connecting in with your earth star and the deep magnetic grey of the earth star, all merging together, pushing down into the earth. A giant column of light. You are anchored, connected, and safe. Bring your awareness and your attention now back to your sacral chakra. A bright, luminous pink. Just feel into this area, breathe into this space, and allow this energy and colour to move into every cell of energy in your body and then all around you, opening up your sacral area. Sensing what's there. Knowing that you will only release what you're ready to release. And we're bringing in now the violet lilac flame. Just imagine this beaming down like a column of light, mixing with the energy of your sacral chakra. A fire of transformation and purification. A fire of resurrection. Sense or see or feel the phoenix appearing from the flame. Sense the presence of that phoenix. Bringing in the energy of change as we move out of an old paradigm. Assisting us with strength. Call in Archangel Gabriel as well to assist in this process of transformation. The phoenix has come from the tree of life to reassure you, bring forward the spiritual blessings of transformation and renewal for your highest good. This helps to move through any limitations or fears that we're holding on to. Helps us let go of anything we're ready to let go of. Just feel into your body. See if anything comes to mind and where you feel that. Just giving yourself permission to ask for help for anything you're ready to let go of. Bringing us back into our original divine blueprint, where we are safe and loved. Phoenix energy there with love, bringing safety, protection. Just ask if there's anything you need to know, the Phoenix or Archangel Gabriel, to help you clear some of the things that you're ready to let go of. See what pops in. With these worries or fears, see yourselves now walking into this flame. This giant column of violet lilac fire flowing down and all around you, burning through all the worries you no longer need, moving out old programming, things we're not conscious of that we no longer need, old thought patterns, habits and burdens. And in clearing this, bringing us into our true creative nature, where we can feel inspired and joyful. A space we can create from without the burdens. So allow that to deeply cleanse and flow all around you, within and all around. This fire of transformation works on all our bodies. Mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, etheric, energy bodies. You may feel symptoms in your physical body now or later. When these show up, it's a clearing, much the same as any other method of treatment. Or when you take on a virus or an illness, the symptoms of clearing things out, of upgrading ourselves, of learning to manage these things in order to clear them, to adapt to life, work with nature. In doing this, creating an upgrade and making space for more light. We are light beings, moving from carbon to crystalline. Feel the energy of your heart and that white light expanding through every cell in your body, upgrading you to hold higher levels of love and light. Ask for help if you need it. Archangel Gabriel is there to assist you. Feel into your knowing. Know that your burdens don't belong to you and they never did. Mostly false beliefs, other people's baggage, our perception, all buried in our unconscious. Just stuff we've picked up. Just let these heavy burdens like rocks melt away. Just allow this heaviness to drop away into the flames. Clearing any dense energy, feeling that sensation wherever it exists in your body. And allow the light to shine through. Take the heart energy to that space and fill it with love and light. The Phoenix now gifts you a golden egg. In this egg, you place all your old baggage that you no longer want or need. Whatever you're ready or what is right for you at your own pace to let go of in this space. This is taken up to the great central sun as a sacred offering. Just surrendering our worries to the divine. We are all part of that divinity. From this space, you're ready to receive a new life energy. Bright colours of joy. A rainbow cascading down all through you, mixing and merging with all the colours of your ascension chakras. Feel into the vibration of all of those colours and sensations, and the vibration of what freedom feels like. Call in your family of light. See a bright white light manifest in front of you. Your soul family stepping out from this light to join you. Standing there with you and Archangel Gabriel to be your soul family on the earthly plane, or your spirit guides. your spirit family, part of your soul family. They're assisting you in integrating these new energies at the right pace and time for you. They are there for you to call on whenever you are needed. This is your family of light. Just in your mind, just say after me, I stay focused on the divine signs. I stay focused on reassurance to help me embrace changes big and small. I welcome in the new energies that I am ready to be blessed with. And as you connect into that energy, just thanking your guides and your soul family for coming. See if there's anything they want to say or a gift they want to give you. Thank them for the gift and thank them for coming. Just slowly start to bring your energy back in towards your body. It's just bringing into balance, closing down your ascension chakras a little bit. Stellar gateway, soul star. Just bringing that energy in, the causal, crown, third eye, your throat, bringing your heart energy back to you. Solar plexus, bringing that back to you. The navel chakra, bringing the sacral chakra energy back to you. Your base, your earth star, how you'll remain anchored and safe and protected. Thank Archangel Gabriel and the Phoenix and our guides for coming. Just see them walk through the light. There whenever we need them. Just taking a few deep breaths. Have an awareness to the weight of your body. Just tap your feet on the floor, rub your hands together. Have a drink of water. Just pop yourselves off mute when you're ready. Are you all back? Are you all with it? All a bit spaced out still.
A bit.
There's quite a lot in one meditation. But again, it will just work with what you're ready to work with. So you were all really, really connected. I could feel and see that, which is lovely. So you're definitely there with your guides. So this is just a lovely picture to end with, all the different multi-rainbow colours that we really are as energy bodies, and not these kind of sacks of skin we have in beige, which is the vibration we see at. But really we are multi-dimensional beings of, you know, multiple colours and energy, just cells of energy moving about. So I thought that was rather nice. So how was that? Anybody share? Who's going to go first?
I always go first, so I'm letting someone else go first.
Who else is ready?
You can see Sue's glowing, look.
I
Yeah, I know, it's orange. It's lovely, isn't it?
That was really, really powerful. That's knocked me out, I think. It's really strong. It was lovely.
Did you have a gift?
I felt like just like a hug, like a really big one. Really, really really warm. But I wasn't given anything, like nothing physical.
But the hug is a gift. See, energetically, none of us ever alone, as we all know that. It's just what we've able to, you know, sense and see. So as you make your way through your senses and you start tuning more into 5D, then that all becomes, you know, alive a little bit more. The possibilities of all the other energies that we can tune into, which is rather lovely.
So when we got to the sacral, and you talked about luminous pink, isn't it?
Yeah.
I couldn't get luminous pink.
What colour was it?
Green.
Okay.
Does that mean I need green?
Possibly. What does it mean? What does it feel like it means to you?
Feels like it needs more feeding. That's what comes into my head.
So think about where else green is an energy in the chakras.
Well, old one, heart.
Yeah.
So it just feels like it needs more feeding. I don't know, nurturing.
So nurturing is self-love.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all these colours, they're not like fixed in a block.
No.
They're just swirling and moving. It's just that we have the essence of that colour coming from that space. But really it's just like a big column of light.
But usually when you suggest a colour, I can bring the colour. I just could not bring that at all. It was green.
That's okay, because that's what you're meant to experience there.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no right or wrong in any of this. It's just your experience is whatever your experience is.
Yeah. That's strange.
Interestingly, though, you've got luminous pink and green on your top.
Yeah.
Colours you're wearing today.
Yeah. Strange. It was a really strange one. Quite comforting, but strange. I think my head's a bit weird today. I don't know why. It's all a bit all over the place.
With it, oh, it's the cat. But the energy around at the moment is pretty intense, and when you're awake and aware of what we are helping to manifest, it's just can be a bit heavy.
Boundaries has been a big thing.
Boundaries.
My boundaries have been pushed a lot this week.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting one because I've always felt boundaries are turnstiles, so because otherwise they're walls, and I don't want that.
Yeah.
But it's interesting how I couldn't quite discern how much to let in and how much not to this week. From other people, I felt called out by certain people, which was quite uncomfortable. So and then my mind kept going over and over and over and over it, driving me a little bit nuts.
And that's the thing, is that we're shifting in perception, and it's not going to match other people that are not in the same mind frame as you.
Yeah.
And where you're at is hugely uncomfortable for them, because it shapes their own paradigm of what they think life is about.
Yeah.
So they're going to challenge it. So they're not challenging you, they're challenging the picture you're bringing.
Yeah.
It just creates defensive behavior, doesn't it? Hard to deal with.
Yes.
But that's their stuff, remember.
Yeah, it is their stuff, I agree. But unfortunately, in this situation, I was sort of outnumbered. So you sort of feel a little bit, I didn't say much, to be honest. And I've learned not to say too much. I stand in my truth.
Yeah, it's hard for an informer.
Very hard for an informer. And that's why my head went a bit like afterwards, like, oh, you should have said that. You should have said that. I was like, yeah.
You can have your truth, and other people are not ready to hear what your truth is.
Oh God, they weren't. They weren't. They weren't at all. From what I was called out, I felt like I was called out, and I did stand in my truth, and then backed off, and that's what I did. Because I'm not going to say anymore. But part of me wanted to say a lot more. And that was the part that was saying, no, you should have said that.
It's so hard, isn't it?
It's a balancing act. This, the boundaries, it's a balancing act. That's how I feel about it.
And the whole world is in the Sacral Chakra.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Pushing everybody's boundaries.
Definitely.
Shaking everybody's foundation of what reality is now, what's going on, really.
Oh,
when
God,
you choose to place your own mind and your beliefs.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it doesn't shake my beliefs at all. It's just I think people you knew, who you thought you knew, you don't know anymore. I don't know them anymore, which is quite sad.
Yeah, and then you're making new friends.
Yeah, that's just as well, eh?
We'll end up with just us. That's okay.
Sometimes you fall out for a little bit, and then you kind of come together again, and people have changed a lot,
Yeah.
It's really bad, and you let them go, and that's okay. But people, if they're the right people, they have a way of coming back into your life.
They do. You're right.
I think what went through my head a lot was, they should know me better than that. That's what went through my head, but I didn't say it, and I didn't say anymore. I just thought, they really should know me better than that, and that made me think that I don't know them, they don't know me.
But they were probably coming from a place of their own fears.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it was, shaking their own boundaries.
Mm.
So they were defending it.
Well, they were definitely defending. Yeah.
So it's about them, not you.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's like we've entered into the unboundaried realms of our sibling relationships. Where, people suddenly, it's all out there. Like usually that would only get said within a kind of sibling
Yeah.
relationship, because you kind of unbounded and say horrible stuff, and that's kind of normal behavior. But I've had that going on too.
Yeah.
And it is hard, and I've been left out of stuff and invited to other things, and I'm having to navigate the same stuff, really.
Yeah.
Because I can't turn up to what I don't believe in anymore.
No, I can't either. So I mean, to be honest with these people, I tended to keep quiet quite a bit until I was called out, and then I had to say something.
Well, you're coming from your heart space,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
that you are helping to manifest a better picture.
Yeah. I think my feeling is I'm fighting for everyone's freedom. That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, a lot of people can't see that.
No, well, totally get it.
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable. Could have been in preparation for mixing up your sacral chakra this evening. It's already starting to clear out the stuff that you need to learn how to zoom out of.
Yeah. No, interesting. So yeah, sorry, I took up a lot of time.
No, it's good.
Someone else.
It's all part of helping us all clear. This is all relevant to all of us. We're all having similar issues.
Can I just say, sometimes you don't actually have to say anything. You just have to be the new thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know it. And you act it. You're the role model, but you don't have to. If you cause upset and trauma and drama, then you're sort of back in the 3D. So it's just acknowledging where you're at and allowing them to be where they're at, and they'll get it, but they might get it in 5 months or 5 years, but that's not your problem. It's up to them, isn't it? You're just being who you are. You're being authentic.
And it's hard. And sometimes we have to process the shadows, and we have to go through these uncomfortable feelings, because we'll be helping other people to do that as well. So sometimes you have to experience the uncomfortable space that you're in.
Yeah.
The same as, I have to again and again, because I don't keep quiet either. Sometimes, like Mandy says, I can enact it and be the role model, and other times I have to speak up. It just depends where I'm at, and there's no right or wrong in it, and sometimes it's what creates the shift for you or other people.
Yeah, it's just when I'm called out, I can keep quiet for a bit, and then I'm called out by something that
and that would could possibly be linked to a wound from your childhood and playing out stuff.
Do you know what I think it comes back to? And I think this is a lot to do with my astrology and stuff like that. It all sort of links to this. Is I've always been a searcher of the truth, and I can only, I just feel like I'm looking for the truth all the time. That's all I'm looking for, is the truth. I'm not interested in hiding behind anything, or or being hidden by anything. I'm just looking for the truth. That's it. And then when someone calls me out, I have to say, and that's it. That's where I'm at. So
that's totally okay. And they think that they're in their truth.
Yeah, and they are in their truth. I suppose it's interesting. I suppose I think I'm in. I don't know what sort of truth I think I'm in, but I sort of think I'm in.
It's a bit like the Truman Show, isn't it? Have you seen the film?
Oh yeah, I think I lived in that when I was a kid. I was convinced I lived that.
Has everyone here seen the Truman Show?
Yeah, my mum said the same. She always thought that the Truman Show she felt she was living in it.
Yeah.
So it's a Jim Carrey movie, for those that have not seen it. And it's this kind of simulation, like the Matrix. And it's governed by, they have scenarios that they play out. And suddenly Jim Carrey notices that there's a glitch, or the same person he saw in a wheelchair was out jogging the next day or something, because they weren't changing the characters, and he starts going around to try and wake people up. And there's this great term called agreeable somnolence, And that is just that people don't want to wake up. They don't want to see what's going on outside. They're quite happy to be in their own little bubble of conditioning because they don't want to see it. Or cognitive dissonance. It's just too much for people. So they will just defend even when they know it's wrong, because they can't actually cope with admitting they're wrong or changing what they're doing. So they just hang on to something for dear life. Out pride sometimes.
Hard for people at the minute though, because I think for so many of them they've been like that and they've never really questioned, but their whole belief systems are shattering. Like capitalism's fucked, like the banking systems will be next, like everything's changing for people, and their whole idea is just, it's just dismantled. You know, that could be 60, 70 years of people's lives.
Yeah.
And it's so hard, I think.
And we're the way showers. So we either stand in the new truth, and sometimes people would just call us weird.
Oh yeah.
Or we're calling it. and then they call us conspiracy nutters. So
we all used to being called weird at this point anyway.
I'm happy with weird.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
I got enough weirdo friends.
Yeah. It's quite an honour to be weird.
Weird's the new normal, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Does anyone else want to share?
I saw a lot of snakes. Instead of phoenix, I saw snakes coming out of the fire.
Okay.
And I
to you.
Don't know. I haven't
Snakes
really got
be
any
about transformation as well, because they shed their skins.
Oh yeah,
renewing all the time, snakes.
cool.
And it can also be about temptation.
Oh yeah. Okay. And I saw a guide that was like a Native American Indian, and then sort of turned straight into like Mother Hubbard.
Okay.
Like a pantomime dame type image. So sort of like a double type persona, which I'm thinking now probably wasn't a guide, was just a bit of a hoax guide perhaps, or something, I don't know. Anyway, so that was that. And I think I was nearly asleep. I did feel very deep, but yeah, it felt good. It felt profound. And
you'd be doing some clearing even if you were nearly asleep.
Yeah, so that's really all I can remember.
Good. See how it unravels.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mandy. Sue?
Well, I couldn't really remember very much. I kept sort of like going in and out, and then be thinking, I've got to do this again. I've got to listen to this again. But you know, I think there were things happening, but I can't really remember anything.
Was quite a lot to take in, to be fair, and actually you'll only take in what your body is ready to take in, which is why it's good to have these recordings, because you can just, you know, visit the meditation again and again.
Yeah, I
make your own ones up out of it. Sorry,
what did you say?
Make your own meditations up out of it. Record your own voice, or get together and do one for each other like you did before.
Yeah. I know it was a good one though, because I kept sort of thinking, oh, I'm gonna do this every day. You know, I kept sort of saying that.
It would probably be too much to do it every day.
Yeah, okay.
Because you need to let your body process what it needs to process first.
Yeah.
So I would say probably, if you're going through a lot of processing, let it happen, and then do it again when that's passed a little bit. Or if you're not processing, then maybe do it once or twice a week, but I wouldn't suggest doing it any more than that. You want because it's a bit like when you have body talk sessions, you've got to let the energy shift and change, because you can't lose all your masks and baggage and shit all in one go, because it would actually be too shocking. It's too much for the body to shed all in one go. That's why I always say it'll unravel as you're ready to let go of stuff. So just pace yourself a little bit with that.
Yeah. Okay.
So thank you for bringing that up, because that's something I tend to think, oh, I'll do lots of things and then actually end up in an overwhelm and not knowing which is shifting from what, whether it's a session I had, a meditation I did, or a conversation, or, you know, it ends up in a bit of a jumble, or I don't give it space to clear properly before I'm on to the next thing.
Yeah.
So just allow yourself to process and see and feel when you need to do it again. Just feel it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Faye, anything else to add?
Oh, it was really good. It was really powerful.
Good.
There's been a couple where I've had to like go back, and it's taken time for them to like be able to like listen to the whole meditation.
Yeah.
Like the witch burning one, it took me months to be able to get through that.
Must find that again, actually. I need to dig that out so I can listen to it again myself.
Yeah, it's good, but it took months to be able to do it the whole way through.
Because it probably for you, you've had so many lifetimes of that stuff going on, it just needed to be a gentle process.
Yeah, and I guess the same with tonight. I usually see everything and, you know, can hear, and tonight it was just a feeling. It was just like a supportive feeling.
I mean, it is the sacral chakra, because it is the whole world. It's massive, and this is something that is a process that we're going to have to clear over and over and over again. And we've all got issues in this area, all of us, from upbringing, from the world, from, you know, our own beliefs, from, you know, past lives. We've all got issues in this area, and we can't change all of it all at once. And you could maybe look at a relationship and think, well, that's not ideal, but it's actually pretty good for what it is, and then there's something else might need to change first, or it might be more about that actually what's really more important is self-love. Because if you've got self-love and you've got your own boundaries, everything else either falls away or comes towards you, whilst you keep reaffirming your own boundaries. What does that feel like? What do I want from that? What's my boundary? You know, how does that feel? Does it feel opening? Do I feel excited by that? Or is it a no? We know that when that's a no, and quite often we hear a yes coming out.
When you start talking about the sacral chakra as well, I did human design. One of the things they said was to connect through that feels good, or that doesn't, and like connect through your throat and sacral chakra. So because I feel quite a lot there, but what I need to do is be better at like vocalizing. So it's, if something doesn't feel right, rather than give the answer yes or no, just like no or and see how it feels.
Yeah, and that is an opening or a closing. It's an up sound or a sound, isn't it? It's the same with muscle testing. It's either a yes or a no. The pendulum, it's a yes or a no. It's expansive or it isn't. When you learn to, you know, do body talk or divine healing or any of these where you're doing muscle testing, it is either it's an opening, it's a we're going there, or we're not. It's that simple, really, and we have to learn to honor that feeling before we've stepped into duty or shoulds and shouldn'ts and, you know, habits, which again we all do. And I've got quite a few sacral areas on my human design as well that have part of my journey. My journey is self-love mainly. And learning that and then sharing it with other people. So that could be mental, emotional, physical, spiritual. You know, my physical body is affected by me being out of alignment, you know, things that are not, you know, boundaried for me, and then I will suffer physically from that. And that's when you work through the sacral stuff, you will quite often feel the physical stuff in your body. Just know that that's a clearing, and as you clear this stuff and you grow and you learn how to overcome it, you're sharing that with other people. You've made space for more light to come in. A virus isn't the scary monster that it's portrayed as. It's something that we have loads of those in our body and our microbiome, as well as bacteria, parasites, fungus. It all lives inside us anyway. It's just sometimes some of them get out of balance and they need clearing. But when a new virus comes into your realm, you adapt to it. Your body, your genes and everything adapts to cope with it, and then you've upgraded. You've cleared it, you've upgraded.
That's what Zach Bush says.
Yeah, and that's what we learn in Body Talk. Yeah, it's part of who we are. We are a virus, we are a parasite.
No,
Yeah,
that's
we
no,
get
that's
moldy.
the media.
Huh?
No, that's the media.
Well, yeah, but you know, we all are a form of a walking microbiome. We are nature. And we're so in our mind and in our heads that we've forgotten that.
Mm.
We're organic beings of light and energy. That's it.
Yeah.
It's no different really than a tree or a bug or an animal or anything really. It's just a different type of spirit, a different type of communication, but it's that kind of programming that's taken us out of our nature is what's shifting. That's the old paradigm that's breaking up.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing. It's just hard. So now moment, what's happening right now? Okay, I'm okay in this space. Right.
Yeah.
We'll deal with that on another day. Yeah. Good, ladies. Let's just stop the recording.